further expedition into the interior of the country's northeast in 1955, the north in 1956, and the south in 1959, allowed His Majesty to see the problems facing the rural poor. Drought followed flood, followed drought, and a farmer's life was the hardest in the kingdom, but they could do nothing to improve their own lives. The king systematically set about addressing these problems. In 1961, His Majesty conducted agricultural experiments. For instance, developing rice strains that would grow in harsh conditions at his Bangkok residence, Chitlada Villa, a part of Dusit Palace. This eventually formed the basis of the world's first experimental farm, based within a royal residence, whose windmills and farming implements are now Bangkok landmarks. Today, the royal grounds include milk powder production facilities, cheese making, plant genetic engineering laboratories, aquaculture ponds, and many other experiments directly designed to help the Thai people.
Royal Chitlada project is belong to His Majesty the King. This is his personal money. So this is a way that we learning by doing here and then launching the idea for the people. So some farmers, they can come here to see. And if they need for the starting, they can come here to be trainees. They can work with us and then go back to have their own business at the village. The sample that we have proud to say that His Majesty drive a car in the summer palace now by using the refined palm oil. So this is a way that he also have his personal experiment with the car, that we can substitute the palm oil or agricultural oil instead of the diesel that we have a higher price nowadays.
Those days, about 40 years ago, the government officials didn't know what's happening on the highland because there's no road. But His Majesty, he went around the mountain to visit the people by helicopter. And one day, after conversation with them, he realized that apart from opium, there is a fruit that gave them some income, which is nearly the same as opium. And so he founded the Royal Project.
And 40 years ago, we imported lots of fruits, vegetables, and flowers from overseas, Holland, Australia, New Zealand. And when we heard that His Majesty the King started a crop substitution program called the Royal Project, we immediately were excited about this project because we knew that there is something for the Oriental Hotel to be participating in. The chef became an advisor, and over the years he brought many, many seeds from overseas into the project, and we were buying slowly from the slow beginnings, of course, to today they have artichokes, aubergines, peaches, all kind of things, and we would never think of buying anywhere else than from this project.
So when you have the best products, you can make nice dishes, good looking, nourishing dishes, and also very healthy. Especially nowadays, when people go so much into health food, we get all these beautiful products which are not sprayed. You see, because His Majesty the King forbids to spray, because the spray goes into the water, the hilltops have to drink and to use. So the few worms we have, the few flies we have, they are part of nature.
The hill tribes were benefited because they grow the legal crop that produce them a lot of money. And people on the lowland benefit because the destruction of the forests and watershed has been stopped.
The Royal Project in the north helped to turn the hill tribes away from growing opium to substitutes like temperate fruit and vegetables. By 1988, to international acclaim, The royal project won the prestigious Magsaysay Award for international understanding and drew government officials from around the world to observe its work. Six Royal Development Study Centers were set up in different regions as models for local people and those from other countries on how to overcome common agricultural problems. Poor villagers struggled with a lack of water for irrigation, for without water, nothing could be grown. After years of research, the Royal Rainmaking Project had its first trial in July 1969 over the vast Khao Yai National Park, using light aircraft. His Majesty continued to provide input about suitable geographical locations. Even the chemical formula for the cloud seeding mixture. His Majesty's success in bringing rain was his greatest gift to the poor. Officials from Indonesia, Bangladesh, China, Malaysia, the Philippines, Singapore and Sri Lanka have all traveled to Thailand to learn how to make rain for their own farmers. His Majesty's work on the Royal Rainmaking Project was awarded the gold medal with mention at the Brussels Eureka 2000.